So we started in the town of Edinburgh. Huge boat full of so many passengers and tourists pulls into the harbor. People are filing out of line, excited. Everyone's happy. The sun is out. The weather is perfect. Amidst that crowd, we have a strange bird fellow. He comes out and looks around. Introduce yourself.
First, okay.
What's your name?
Rip Van Winkle, who's originally named Rip Snort Van Winkle, hobbles along the deck. You can hear the clack of his wooden sandals that he wears over his knee-high tourist-looking socks.
All right.
He's hunched over a pad of paper, scribbling furiously as he glances around him at the bustling city that he has entered.
Okay. All right. So he walks into the town and he makes his way into the town center. From the harbor, he can see there is one too many spots to look like. Right now, he is looking for maybe a place to eat or a place to shop for supplies.
Rip Snort Van Winkle highly values being prepared for any kind of situation.
Okay.
And as such, he always likes to have as much food as possible on hand. So even though he might have his trusty loaf in his pocket, he still decides to seek out some more food. So he goes to the nearest shop, and he rifles through his pockets for his coins,
All right.
and he starts looking over the selection to see if they...
Before you go into the shop, he sees 2 stores, but 2 taverns. 2 stores where he can buy food and go along his way, or 2 places to go eat. Which one would you like to choose?
He thinks a good start to his journalism career might be a review, so he decides to go sit down and eat at the tavern.
Okay. On his left side, he sees a lovely tavern, beautiful lighting, everyone's coming in and out, people are having fun. It's named boldly on the front, named Quincy's Tavern. On the right side of him, he sees a bit more of a rundown building, kind of sketchy looking, named the Broken Teapot. Which one would he like to enter?
He looks between the 2, and he looks at Quincy's Tavern, and he's like, I would quite like to meet this famed Quincy. And so he takes his little notebook out, and he hobbles on in, and he seats himself at the nearest table.
All right.
Regardless of whether there's a hostess that he's supposed to wait for.
All right. So he walks into the tavern. He walks in and sees bands playing. People are drinking. People are eating. Everyone's having a great time. He walks over to the bar. He sees a very tall man, a little fat, maybe on the heavier side, but awfully cheery. He looks over at the bird fellow and says, nice to meet you, sir. What would you like to get?
He's like, I'm not sure. What do you have to offer?
We got everything. We got beers, we got alcohol, we got drink, we got bread, some good old granny's mashed potatoes, anything you'd like.
He's like, something filling, something amazing, something that I would love to have after a long voyage from a place far, far away.
Oh, I know just the thing. Quincy turns around, grabs the biggest jar for beer and pours it to the brim. Places it on the bar and says, there you go, fella. I'll get dinner just started right now. Let me just go tell my help keep to start your dinner. Jerry! Get some man some dinner, please.
I notice that Rip Snort Van Winkle picks up the glass and struggles to drink out of it with his bird beak. He's like, how exactly does one drink from this?
Quincy walks away.
Dinner.
A little.
And Rip Snort Van
Curious.
Winkle pulls out his trusty little camera and starts taking pictures.
As Van is starting to take pictures around the place, he notices a strange silhouette in the corner of the tavern, in which we see
Darren Thornhart. This wood elf is a dark-skinned male with short hair. He rocks back and forth slightly in his chair, a little bit teetering over, almost falling over, but he somehow catches himself before he does. He has a drink in his hand and it's almost empty. He stirs off into space and he looks puzzled, like he's not even there. He stares at this mysterious bird-looking fellow. He's never seen something like that before, and he can't help but keep staring.
what either of you would like to approach together.
Okay, Rip Snort Van Winkle catches the eye of this wood elf across the tavern and thinks to himself, why? This man looks quite intriguing. He looks like main character material. So he pulls out his little notebook and he picks up his glass. And he tries to wander inconspicuously over and then slide into the booth next to him and be like, hello. Hello, good sir. You look like you have some stories to tell. How was your evening been?
Well, Darren responds, I might have been staring, but I didn't want you to approach me.
Then Ripstore Van Winkle goes,
Roll for
"What?"
intimidation. Ooh, he said sussy. Alright. As he's looking down at his bird fellow, he gives a hint of authority, but not enough to scare the bird fellow away.
Okay. So Ripstore Van Winkle, like, kind of gives him an odd glance. Like, he's like, am I messing with someone that I shouldn't be? But he dismisses the thoughts. Because he's like, what's the worst that could happen? I die? And he pulls out his notebook. And he's like, so good sir, what brought you to the town of Edinburgh? You don't seem like you're around these parts. And matter of fact, neither am I.
Well, wouldn't you like to know? Everybody has a story here.
It's like, wow, you're not very forthcoming. That's not very...
What are you planning to
you're not
do?
very good
Write a
interview.
biography about me? What is that journal for?
Oh, just journal, but just some notes for some art.
Just notes for some art.
I came to Edinburgh to pursue a career as a journalist after I lost my job as a copyist because of the invention of the printing press. But I'm quite looking forward to meeting new people and writing new stories.
Well, you came to the right place. There's a lot of stories here. What? Why do you want to know mine? I'm just a lonely patron in this bar.
He's like, I have to start somewhere, and I too am a lonely patron, so it seems like we have some common ground.
Fair enough. Darren kind of lightens up a little bit. His body language opens up. For the first time in a while, he actually likes this conversation.
Can I have Ripstore Van Winkle like examine the state of this wood elf's clothes? Try to judge like his economic status to be like, can I pay for
Roll
this
for
man's
insight.
food? Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. Let's see. 7.
As far as this bird fellow know, he is doing just as well off as anyone in his tavern.
Okay, so Ripstore Van Winkle kind of like snaps and sighs to himself like, there goes bribery, I can't do that. Ripstore Van Winkle has only heard of unethical reporters, and therefore he does not consider the idea that someone might be fairly compensated for their time in a non-shady way.
Well, if you make me a promise, I'll tell you a little bit more about me.
What kind of promise might that be?
Pay me for my time. Pay me for another drink. And tell me, where did you get those ridiculous socks from?
Oh, he's like, oh, these socks, and he kind of like sticks a leg up underneath the table. He was like, they were made for me by my beloved family.
Beloved family.
Yes.
Nice. I wish I had
my-
a beloved family.
Ripstore Van kind of falters for a second. He was like, oh, I'm quite sorry to
It's
have upset
fine.
you.
It's fine.
And anyways, and he starts like rummaging through his pockets for his coin purse to be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for these drinks.
How much would you like to give him?
Okay. Ripstore Van Winkle.
You have 50
he
gold
figures. He figures. He's like, how does money work? 1 gold coin for my own beverage, which he keeps to pay the person later, and then there's 1 gold coin for him, and then 1 additional gold coin. So he gives him 2 gold coins.
Darren smiles at the gold coins and kind of plays with them for a second before tucking them into his pocket and leaning a little bit more forward with a smile on his face. Well, I have a long story, but I guess I'll tell you a little bit for now. And if you come around every once in a while, I'll tell you a little bit more so you don't get all of it in one sitting.
He's like, this must be an excellent story for you to be
Yes.
holding it hostage.
Out of nowhere, you hear a, ha ha! Here's your dinner. Quincy throws a plate onto it. You see a beautiful combination of freshly cooked bread, some mashed potatoes, and a nice good bowl of chowder soup. Enjoy. He walks away cheerfully and goes attending to everyone else in the bar. Hey!
Check out that guy's laugh. It's ridiculous, ain't it?
Richard Van Winkle is entranced by the food that has been put before him. He's like full on like restaurant reviewer mode, like Antoine Ego mode. So he's already like got his clam chowder and he's like sampling it, so he doesn't hear the wood elf commenting on the man's life.
Darren stirs a little bit, but he starts to drink a little bit more while still just watching and observing Van Winkle as he eats.
I would just like to note that as Van Winkle is scribbling away on his little notepad, he is looking at his plate and he is like going, "There are potatoes." He's writing no opinions. He's like, "Oh, there is clam chowder." And then he's looking at the ingredients and stating what they are. And he's like, "That sounds like a sufficient review." And closes his little notepad. But he resumes eating his meal.
When was the last time you ate? Darren asked quizzically.
He's like, "Probably on the ship on the way over here. I can't quite recall the time."
That ship food must have been really nasty, was it?
He says, "I was content with this. I've been told that I don't have an acute sense of taste."
Well, I haven't eaten in a few days, to be honest, so Darren leans a little bit closer and rubs his hands. You mind if I give just a little bit of a sample of your food?
Ripsnort Van Winkle, quite well, he's not exactly Ripsnort Van Winkle is charitable in some regards, but not
Current
history.
time check, it is currently 6 in the afternoon.
Okay. Ripsnort Van Winkle takes, like, does he have, like, what's it called? A saucer beneath his cup? No, it's not really because it's an ale.
No.
Okay. He takes a napkin. He takes a little napkin, and he takes a very small scoop of potatoes and a single piece of, like, chunk of something from the clam chowder and places it on the napkin, and then he, like, scoots it towards him and he goes, "There you go." He's like, one can never have too much food.
Darren smiles. He stared at his food for a few seconds before digging into it. Obviously, he doesn't have any manners because he was eating very brashly, not carrying what Van Winkle thought about him while he ate. And as Van Winkle can see, he was very, very famished.
And, okay, so Van Winkle's kind of like, "With a voracious appetite such as yours, you must have been hard at work, young man. What do you do for a living?"
Well, I'm a ticket master. I just sell tickets, pretty much. It's really not that high paying. A lot of food here is very expensive.